Welcome, all you late night listeners. We are going to be taking you on a scintillating journey of exploration and passion. Get ready to dive into the tantalizing world of adult entertainment and those who bring our deepest desires to life. Okay, that's about as spicy as I get. So let's get into the podcast. Hey, I am your host, Rebel, and we are going to peel back the layers to discover the captivating souls behind these fantasies that we so desire. We'll be stripping away the misconceptions and the preconceived notions, embracing the raw and the real. Each episode will be an intimate encounter with a spicy creator, which is an artist who expresses their desires through visual and auditory stimulation. We will discover what motivates them, inspires them, and get a look into their personal journey and see what has led them to where they are today. So let's open the minds, put away the tissue as we uncover the person behind the fantasy. I want to welcome you all to the 50 Shades of a Conversation. Tonight's guest, we're having Nikkie Dickie. She is an adult film star, an escort. She's pretty damn good with investing with crypto and other stocks, and she loves a great conspiracy theory. So tonight, we want to welcome Nikkie Dickie. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Nicky. My performer name is Nikkie Dickie. I do webcam. I do porn. I'm kind of lazy, so I haven't been on webcam. But I've done cam for Chatterbait, Pornhub, StreamMate, I'm Live Jasmine, everywhere. All of the campsites. OnlyFans. I've done porn for Shimo Strokers, Shima Yum. I've done some for Pure TS. Everywhere.
Adult industry alone, I mean, it's got a big stigma on it. I mean, of course, it's been around. It's the oldest profession, and
Exactly.
it's people
Some
still
people
haven't.
want to do it, but they don't do it, or they're fearful of doing it. It's not easy work. Getting on webcam and getting naked and doing it for $6, $7, $8 a minute. It requires a shifting of perspective. It's not easy. You
Oh,
know.
yeah, I don't think I could do it. No, I mean, I don't know. I might be able to. I mean, I've always wanted to get into the porn industry. I mean,
A lot of people do. I grew up saying, "Oh, I want to be a porn star." Did I think that would happen? Oh, I'm Nikkie Dickie. Okay. Hey, Mom, I'm Nikkie Dickie now. It's not misleading, but it's straight to the point.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's just like I said, in my teenage years, growing up, of course, we had the penthouses, we had the hustlers, we had everything else,
Oh
stashed
yeah, me
in
too. I've seen
everywhere.
them
And
all. It's easy to look at, but to do it, it's not easy.
yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like, because I dabbled, back in, my younger years and stuff like that with doing, videos with, whoever's with and stuff. And
Yeah, I think we all have. Even me.
yeah.
I can watch trans porn, straight porn. I can't watch the gay porn, but I can watch everything else. Some people that might not make sense, others it might. Who knows?
Hey,
It's just that's me from my own personal experience.
yeah. Um, so I mean, you are trans, from
Correct.
correct? Everything going on with the trans community today, and everything going on, it's just kind of a crazy time
It is. I agree.
to
I
be
agree.
trans. I mean,
It is.
because
So,
it. No, go
do
ahead.
you have some people that think they're trans or they're being led to believe they're trans? However, I'm trans. I've been this way for a long time. We don't. I speak on myself and others I know. We don't like this attention. You know, it's being in my personal opinion. I think it's just being misused. It's being blown out of character. I don't care about being called she, him, her. I mean, I like it, but I'm not demanding it or pushing it on people. I think it's wrong to push it on people.
Well, I look at it this way, I mean, until we started talking and kind of researching everything else, and then you told me and stuff. I would have, never really known just by looking at you that you were trans. To me,
I get that a lot too.
I look, I've had other people like that that I've met, in the last 40 years of doing this. It's like, that are trans and stuff like that. It's like I would have never known if you hadn't have told me.
Yeah,
You know?
most people don't. It's like we strive to live and to not be known. That's how most trans are. We don't want to be known as trans, unless we're like a trans porn star.
Yeah.
That's that's what we do. We're not afraid. Just like you have some people going out there with beards. Oh, I'm trans. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I,
It's a little different, but
I mean, yeah. And I don't know. Was a day with social media and everything else, and everybody engagement, likes, follows, and everything else. I
yeah,
mean, my
people
personal opinion, I think there's a big percentage of those that are just doing it because it's a
they
trend.
want attention. It's
Yeah.
a trend. They want attention. They want to be talked about. Social media can be addicting. They're doing it for followers. This everyone has a motive to do everything
Yep.
or anything. There's always a motive.
No, I agree. My motive in doing this is making sure, to get the real story out. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
Like I said, I've watched a lot of these in the past, and before I got to this point here, and it's just like I don't see anything that really portrays the person that is doing it. I mean, it's more like the perverted side of things, excuse me, and
I agree.
doesn't really show who you are, and that's kind of
Exactly. Like that's what makes me different. I'm not always posting videos, naked pictures. I'm quite the opposite.
yeah,
I'm not like what you expect. I come to you as a person,
yeah,
instead of being seen as a pervert. You know,
yeah,
but that's the way some porn stars advertise themselves. I have. For me, it didn't really work. I could care less about followers. I just don't care. I've had an account where I've had 20,000 and been shadow banned for 7 8 years, and then it went up to 40,000 when Elon bought it. I think I'm shadow banned again, but I just don't care.
yeah,
you know, I'm just me. I am who I am.
yeah. No, and I mean, I think that being honest, being true to yourself is, I think
Oh,
that needs to be with
100%.
everybody. I mean, it's just plain and simple. Even though it's hard for some people to be that way.
Yeah, some people just can't be them without the fear of being judged.
Yeah,
Who cares? I'm not going to lock myself up based on someone else's opinion.
yeah, yeah. It's a
It's
good.
a form of Yeah, it's a form of imprisonment. You're imprisoned to other people's opinions. Live your own life.
Yeah,
You don't force it on no one.
and that's just it. 20, 30 years ago is they just didn't push it.
Changed.
Yeah,
Nowadays, it's just. Yeah, I agree. Thought it was better back then, but it was also worse for some. But then again, times change.
if you don't mind talking about it. I mean, growing up and stuff like that. What kind of stuff did you grow up? What was your home life? I mean, did you have a was your family intact or
Well, I had my mother. She lived in Detroit. I had my stepfather, um, and my stepmother. We grew up in basically the military, Anchorage, Alaska. I was too young to really remember. Then Oscoda, Michigan. I remember some of that living on the Air Force Base. Then living all over Michigan, Upper Michigan, like Sheboygan, Pellston, Wolverine. And I was a boy, still am, haven't had sex change. And, I did what boys did. Played with army men, played with cars, blew them up with M80s, played with bottle rockets, had girlfriends, you know. And but I got into some trouble when I was 15. Me and some friends smashed some cars. You know that we seen in the woods. We're kids. We're young boys. Oh, look at these cars! Let's just smash out the windows. That's what we did. We're trouble. So I basically my stepdad was like, "Well, you're gonna go down to Detroit, live with your mom." Because I got in trouble. So I moved down to Detroit. It was a culture shock. I was the only white kid in the whole school. But I really didn't have issues. The only issue was in school for math class, they give you crossword puzzles. What the hell is this? It's not like the schools from where I'm from. Everything was different. What they taught you in schools, they taught you nothing. You know, I was just like, oh my god, what the hell is this? I didn't understand. So as long as the school every day, I'd get a good grade. You know, as long as I completed my crossword puzzles in math, I would get a candy bar from the teacher.
Wow.
As long as I went to phys ed wearing shorts, I got an A. So I understand how Detroit schools work, inner city schools work, all white schools work, because I've been there. You know, I understand. So, and then I moved out to the suburbs in like Highland Township, Michigan. Ended up dropping out of school. Was working with my mom at a restaurant, an Italian restaurant. Started washing dishes, became a cook. I used to be a pothead. Used to smoke a lot of weed. Used to hang out with the stoners. But then I started forgetting everything. So I'm like, oh my god, I gotta stop smoking weed. So
But I mean,
I used to
I
forget
mean,
everything.
so basically, I mean, you had a semi sort of kind of normal childhood. I
Normally,
mean, yeah,
somewhat. Till I was 15, then I got a culture shock. You know, but I learned a lot from demographics growing up, how things are,
yeah,
instead of listening to what like the media tells me or something like, okay, these people aren't educated. These people, I'm like, well, that's because certain people aren't taught things. You know, I've learned a lot. I have a lot of wisdom due to experience. I'm really 42, but I lie and say I'm 32.
okay,
Who doesn't, right?
yeah.
We can't tell the truth in porn. We're really younger. No, you're a MILF, Nikki. You don't know you're a MILF until someone says that.
No, I mean,
So,
that's something that I've always been curious. It's like, okay, because like I said, that's some of the stigma you hear about the industry and stuff like that. Is like, oh, they come from broken homes, they just troubled and everything else. It's like,
yeah.
no, there's got to be
Some,
more to it than that. I mean, I know there's
there's
probably
more to
some, but
everything. It depends on the individual. You can't just classify everybody.
yeah,
You know, it's like for me, I was raised normal. I didn't have a
yeah,
gay parent, bisexual. I didn't have no trans in my family. Still don't. I'm the only one. But I was gonna say something I forgot. But I'm somewhat normal. But then again, what's normal when everyone's different?
true.
You know, I just don't push my lifestyle on anyone. So,
So, I mean, when did you start? When did you start realizing that you weren't who you felt you were?
well, I don't know. I think when I was 12, they started calling me Coat Man because all the other girls started forming breasts.
No,
I started wearing a coat, so I didn't understand why. I started feeling different. I started feeling uncomfortable. But I didn't understand why because I wasn't introduced to anything like they're doing nowadays. Oh, you're trans.
mm,
I wasn't introduced to this. Therefore, for me, it's natural. I started to understand that, okay, this is how I feel. And I started becoming trans when I was about 17.
okay,
So I started living my life how I wanted to, and I felt comfortable, absent being judged or ridiculed. I was judged for a while, but it all stopped when I became more confident in who I am, going out in public, doing what I want to do, becoming more passable. Like some people don't believe trans should use a women's room. You know, I believe if you're passable, sure, why not? As long as you don't go in there acting like a weirdo looking at people.
yeah,
You don't go into a bathroom staring at people. That's weird. I've never had an issue. I go in the men's room, I'm gonna have security walk in on me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're in the wrong bathroom. I'm like, ID says male. That's fake, bro. The ID says male. They're like, they're fucked up. They're
Yeah.
messed up. They're like, So to alleviate that, I just go in the women's bathroom.
Yeah.
You know. Um, as for porn, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. I just can't remember when it comes to that. We're all humans. Some people can do certain things in porn, others can't. It's like some guys find trans women. Oh, they're women. However, they won't admit it in public, but they'll watch trans porn and they'll consider it not gay. To each his own. Do what you do. You know,
Yeah.
if you suck a dick, you might be gay.
Mm.
I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
I got
No.
a dick still. But trans dick. I guess if that makes you feel like you're not gay, then it ain't. Some guys are like, well, I I can have sex with a trans, but I can't do it with a guy.
Mm.
For me, it's all about sexual attraction. If you want to be with a transsexual and you find her beautiful or pretty, and as a female, then maybe that doesn't make you gay. But if you look at a man and you find a man attractive, I think that would make you gay. Like
Yeah.
me, I'm attracted to some trans,
Mm.
but they don't look like men. They look like girls. They just have a penis. That's hot. I like other trans, and I like women. I look at a guy, I don't find men attractive. Oh, he's hot. I want to know how much money he has. you know, I'm an escort too. So I'm bisexual. You bi and I'm sexual.
I like that.
So, thank you. A cop told me that once.
That's a good way to put it. I'm bisexual. You
Yeah.
bi, I'm sexual.
Yeah, you bi and I'm sexual. I'm bisexual. It's just like a stop sign. It's only a suggestion. You don't have to stop.
True.
But if you don't and you're seen, you're going to get pulled over.
Very true.
Yeah.
Um, so you said you started feeling that way when you were 17. I mean, did you have any challenges? I mean, did your parents know
Um,
or
my parents knew, I was also locked up before, so I kind of came out in prison, which made
oh,
it
okay.
harder,
Oh,
you know? Yeah. I was supposed to do some time. It turned into a lot of time because in some states you're not allowed to, there's no right to parole. So an
mm,
officer can say something and write you a ticket or a misconduct or an infraction, and you're not going to be believed because it's one person's word against another. So that's the
sure.
environment I really came out in. So it made things a lot harder. Also boosted my confidence. I was punished. I was screwed over, and it made me who I am today. And that's why I remain because I didn't want to change. How are you going to force me to do what you want to do? This is me. It's my body.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me different than most trans. I had to stick up and stand up for myself. I don't care what other people think. A lot of people do. A lot of trans I know, they stay at home. They don't leave. They go out at nighttime,
Mm.
when it's a little darker. Or they don't go out at all because they fear what people think. They're imprisoned. They have a thinking error. If you're going to live your life, live it. You can't live it based on someone else's opinions.
So, I mean, do you think the ones that, like you said, that stay at home and are scared to go out, are they scared of the judgment or are they scared of actually maybe still
They're,
on the fence
they're
about what they're
scared
doing?
that, I think, due to judgment or they don't feel safe.
Okay.
A lot of girls I know, they're passable. Um, sometimes it's a thinking error on their behalf, meaning that they're just scared of what others might think or others might think that, oh, that's a man. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of trans don't go out every day. I do. I go out to eat. I drive around. I enjoy life.
That's yeah.
Some don't. I haven't met too many that do, and I know a lot of trans. A lot of trans know me. Most of the trans porn stars know me.
So I mean, so there's, I mean, even with so, do you think with everything going on today with all the, I call them posers, because like I said, like we talked earlier, I think there's a lot of them that are
Oh
doing
yeah, it's crazy.
what you see spreading across, social
It's
media. I
crazy.
think those are, yeah, it's all,
All fake.
yeah, all for
All fake.
engagement.
People want attention. Or maybe the FBI put them up to do it. Or maybe they're being paid somehow to do it.
See,
That's
that's
how I see things.
that's
Because you didn't see this a year ago.
no,
So you didn't see this 6 months ago.
that's what I'm saying.
Like the little gay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in this space for 4 years of talking with different, with doing different things and talking with different places, and just going through things. And it has just been in the last year and a half that this is like totally blown up.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, I
It's
even had,
crazy.
because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, maybe I missed something. So, I started researching and going back, looking, back in past videos of people that I knew or that I've seen and everything else. And it's like, no, I mean, yeah, there was things out there, but
Yeah, but not like this. I mean,
no.
everything went to super shit. Everything's weird. Me
Yeah.
being trans, everything's weird. this, there's some weird shit going on. We don't want this attention. What's going on? We know you're not trans. I mean, there's just some weird stuff going on.
Well, see, and I think that's the reason why the LGB is wanting to pull apart, from the rest of the alphabet, for that fact is because, just like you said, y'all don't want this attention, and
No, we don't.
they're putting the attention on everybody, which is putting everybody that has been going on with their life every day in and
Yeah.
day out with no
It's like, oh,
problems.
you're groomers. Are you a groomer? It's like,
Yeah,
no, dude, I don't want no part of that crap. There's an agenda being pushed.
yeah, oh yeah,
So,
yeah, it's crazy. Uh,
I'm like also a conspiracy theorist,
oh, me too.
only because a lot of things have came true. How can I not be?
Yeah.
A lot of things,
Oh,
and then if it hasn't came true, you start seeing all the evidence pop up, and then you're like, oh, okay, oh, people are just dying? Like, okay, where did this come from? Oh, all this fake data, doctors being paid an extra 10, 20% per person
oh,
that
I
they
know.
give a shot to. I'm like, okay, and then you start looking over here, and then you start finding out the FBI lied about this and that. And it's like, it's all coming true. I
Yeah.
mean, what is there not to believe? Now let's look at this. This seems far fetched. I start looking at this. And I'm like, okay. Trump just said he had released the John F. Kennedy assassination stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, I remember hearing about this and this. Let's see what the conspiracy theories are. They said that everything's like the opposite.
Yeah. Oh,
You know?
they're changing internet. I mean, that goes to show that they even have access to the internet because, I mean, I don't know about you, but the weirdest thing that I found out that has really like affirmed me into thing is really messed up is I read a Twitter post a few months ago because it was Bob Barker. Remember Bob Barker from The Price is Right?
Yeah, he makes prison clothes too.
But I could have swore I watched his funeral like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and he's still alive.
Yeah, he's like 90.
I think I remember hearing him dying too.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of people have died, like George Soros. I heard he's dead.
I,
You know,
I mean, that's just weird because when I
I heard he
seen,
got hung. Like,
I mean, that's, because that was, the Matrix, the Matrix and living in simulation theory and all that stuff. I seen that and it's like, oh my God, I was like, it really affirmed there has been something is wrong. And then they go and you go back and look at on Twitter or Google, it's not there. It's like, no,
well,
I'm not
I know a
crazy.
lot of things have been deleted because my old Twitter things got deleted left and right. I mean, I've had Facebook accounts. All of a sudden, I can't log into them. So I don't screw with anything I heard that you know, everything's being monitored. I know it's true,
Oh.
but no, like Twitter, my old Twitter's gone. 40,000 people gone. As soon as Elon Musk bought it, I went from 23,000 up to 40,000 in like a month or two. And
Wow.
last time I logged in, I only had like maybe 2 weeks worth of tweets. All the old ones are gone. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Huh.
And then now that's totally gone. So it'll start
Yeah.
happening again.
Oh yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
start happening.
We got another year. What, a year and a half of.
Year and a half.
So yeah.
Oh, we haven't seen nothing yet. I believe
No.
it's going to get worse. More secrets are going to come out. Things are coming out for a reason. Like I've seen things, I've read things, and I kind of believe it. I think we're like in a a police state right now.
Some of the things that I have seen and witnessed just by watching and reading both sides of the aisle in all the different publications, it's like, no, there's something. Yeah, so we're in for a
Something's going
rude
on.
awakening. Yeah,
Yes,
but yeah,
something's going on. And all this information being dropped on us, like we're being given information left and right. This
yeah.
was a lie. That was a lie. That was a lie. It's happening for a reason. It's like we're slowly being awakened to something. Not woke.
Yeah,
Awakened.
yeah. There's a difference between being woke
Yeah,
and
woke.
awakened. That's what I always tell people. It's like you got to be careful. Being woke is not
Yeah.
a good thing. Be awakened is what
No.
you need to be.
Exactly. I'm awakened.
But I liked about you when we started talking. It's like, oh, okay, somebody I can actually like, brain
Yeah,
dump
I'm
on and
cool.
sit there. And
I can talk about anything. I'm cool. We can talk about porn. We can talk about conspiracies. We can talk about whatever. I'm cool.
um, so I mean, right now, I mean, uh, did your friends and your family and everything else, did they accept everything, right away, or did
Yeah.
it take a little while
Yeah,
to?
except for my aunt. She was more like in shock. Like she's a God fearing person.
Mm,
She's a good person. But me, when I got out of prison, I lived with her, and 3 days afterwards, I came out. She already knew I was trans, but I started wearing women's clothing. And at the time, I wasn't that passable. I looked horrible. But, I stayed at home. I started medication. And I started changing dramatically, probably in about 6 months. But to her, it was a shock. Like, let's go out shopping. I'll drop you off here, and I'll go over here and pick something up. And I'm like, oh my God, my aunt is judging me. She's a
oh
God
no.
fearing person. I'm like, God, why is she doing this? You know? And for her, she was just scared. She didn't understand. And I also had a handicapped uncle that lived there, and she would tell me I had to go to my room when he would come out because she didn't want him to get confused and
Mm,
start asking questions. So I'm like, oh, okay. When I get off parole, I'm just gonna have him cut this off, and you can drive me down to Detroit, what she did, and drop me off in the ghetto. And I became homeless for 3 days. I literally told her, drop me off in the ghetto. I can live. Just spend time in prison. You can drop me off anywhere and I'll survive. That's what I
wow.
did. So, and then I found out I had an older brother, older sister who I never met. We talked when I was locked up. And anyways, they called me and they're like, Nikki, where are you at? Oh, I'm down on like 5 Mile and Telegraph in the hood. They're like, what? You're in like the most dangerous part of the city. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I got an abandoned house and a pickle bucket to piss in. They're like, no, we're going to come get you. Like, okay. They come get me. I moved then with them, and I couldn't get a job because I have a record. No one would hire
Mm,
me. So I didn't know how to use a computer. I bought a computer. Took me a day to figure out how to connect to a Wi-Fi and figure everything out. I remember reading a computer book about the basics of this and that. So in 3 days, I taught myself how to use a computer. Then I went on Craigslist. I found an advertisement for Woody cams. So I'm like, oh, webcam. So I started webcamming for Woody cams, which is StreamMate, which is also Pornhub. It's
oh,
just like
okay.
an umbrella. That's how I started webcamming. And I used to be online 14 hours a day. for months. For
Wow.
months. They had me streaming on 6,000 different websites. I started making five, six, 800 a week, nonstop. And this was pretty good back in 2012.
Yeah.
So I started becoming very successful, and my older sister become started becoming very jealous. So she ended up kicking me out. So I had to live in a weekly. And I'm like, God, this is hard. Their Wi-Fi sucked. I basically had to walk down the freaking McDonald's to get Wi-Fi. I mean, the Wi-Fi was horrible. I had to get a Wi-Fi booster. It barely worked. So I'm like, okay, I'm at a crossing point in my life again. What do I do? I'm gonna go to Vegas. I flew out here with my computer, a backpack full of clothes, and lived at Circus Circus for a month and a half. Ever since I landed, I started making $20,000 to $30,000 a month. I started doing
Wow.
porn. They're like, "Hey, let's do porn." So I'm like, "Okay." Started doing porn for Shemale Yum, Shemale Strokers. I still did the webcam. I started to escort, and I did a little this and a little that. Started doing some other things that aren't really legal. So I started doing really good, and I just kind of blew up. I blew up 20, 30,000 a month. Started
Wow.
doing cryptocurrency, started buying Bitcoin in like late 2014. It was 250 a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Started buying Ripple, started telling people about it. Oh, you'll hear about Bitcoin in like 5 to 10 years. And here you are.
Yeah.
You know. So, I used to read a lot of books, law books, um, philosophy books, educational books, magazines. I knew about Elon Musk in like 2007 in a Wired magazine. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, this guy's smart. He's working on electric cars. You know, I did a lot of reading. I taught myself a lot of things. I didn't just sit there and become dumb and get involved in politics. I educated myself. That's what makes me different.
Yeah. I think it's the most important part. Anybody that wants to, I think
Better
before you can
control.
understand, yeah, anything before you can understand anything, you've got to be somewhat educated about
Yeah,
life.
of course. Yeah. I've lived all types of lives. Boy, girl, hooker, porn star, webcam model. I lived in all white neighborhood, all black neighborhood, all Mexican neighborhood. You know, I've lived a life. I'm still young. I'm only 32. So,
Wow.
so
So you moved to Detroit to Vegas, and that changed your whole life. And
it changed everything. I blew up. I started escorting out here. I even had a client rob four casinos. He got shot and killed at the Rio. They put me on every news channel for like a week.
wow.
you know, Cops followed us around for like 3 days. I had no idea what he's doing. But I remember seeing someone on the news for robbing casinos, and I'm like, he looks like one of my clients, but I couldn't put two and two together. And then I noticed, little marks on tires or taxis everywhere I go when
Mm.
he would want to see me. And I'm like, why is there a taxi down here? You know, Come to find out, it was undercover police.
Oh
I
wow.
just didn't put it together. I knew something weird was going on. I'm like, okay, I didn't do nothing wrong, but the cops were watching him, and they
Mm.
know I'm a crazy driver. I've rented Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches. I've lived a life.
Wow.
Only because I like cars. Growing up, I like cars. I play with cars. I play with army men. I
Yeah.
like cars. I still do. I haven't changed. So I've done almost everything I've ever wanted to do. I mean, how many people can say, "Hey, I drove a Lamborghini today for 24 hours for 2 grand," or
Yeah.
I did that. I mean, how many escorts can say that? I mean, trans porn stars can say that. I've driven almost every car. I never drove a Bugatti. That's one car I haven't driven. I've driven just about everything else. I mean, I probably had the opportunity. I know one with one, but I'm not gonna call them up. Hey, can I drive your Bugatti? Can I,
Hey, let's go for a
Nikki? Don't
drive.
take it. Yeah, Nikki, take a picture. Don't take no photos. They'll know it's me. You know, I don't I don't tell on people. I don't front people off, but I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know people in positions of power. I know famous people. I know a lot of people. You know, but as soon as you start talking, there goes your business.
Yeah, that is true. That
And
is one
some
thing.
people learn that the hard way. Look at Stormy Daniels. You know,
Yeah,
even though she lied, but still, I mean, come on, looks
yeah,
like a liar now.
yeah. She's.
You know,
I would say she's probably done completely.
oh, she's done, hundred
Yeah,
percent. I'm sure she's had some famous people, and no one's gonna mess with her,
yeah,
regardless. You know,
yeah. He's gonna be scared now.
yeah, no, 100%. That they rather buy photos and dirty panties, wear them for 24 hours, send it in a sealed up plastic bag, which I've done before.
Well, hey, you know,
Hey,
I've
pays the
heard
bills,
people
right?
sell bathwater, and make a couple
Oh,
grand off of it. It's like,
listen, that I've been asked everything, everything, even the nastiest shit. I've been asked, you know. But hey,
oh
that's your thing.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can imagine. I can only imagine. Some of the. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even. I mean, we'll get into that, but it's like,
yeah.
um,
Mail
so
me
I
your
mean,
socks.
oh yeah, I mean,
Piss in the bag.
yeah, you always heard, people's, selling their panties or but yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, socks,
I mean,
panties, shirt.
I've watched things where people have, videos and stuff of where people have sent and done things for video purposes that it's like, oh my God,
Yeah,
who are these people?
yeah. Make a 10-minute video doing this with the dildo, and sure, no problem.
Ugh.
And can I use a little dildo?
I
You
mean,
got a banana?
don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm into a little bit of kink here and there, but some of that stuff isn't
Yeah.
kink. Some of that
Who
stuff is
isn't?
wow.
Who isn't? You know how many straight guys see me saying, "Oh, bend me over and fuck me"?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're fucking like 300 pounds and you're all muscle. Like, you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Give me like 10 minutes. Let me take a Viagra. Yeah, I gotta give this some time to kick in. You know? All right, look down. You know? I like being a bottom. I don't like topping guys, but sometimes that's what the job requires. You
Yeah.
know?
Now, see, do you have a management company or are you all independent?
No, no, I'm independent. Management companies, they're just pimps.
Yeah.
Escort services, they're just pimps. You know, I've worked for an escort service. I worked for an escort service back in like 1998, Tiffany's escort service. You know, I used to drive around escorts and stolen cars. One of the escorts that I knew, she was actually all over TV back in like the late '90s. She jumped on a train and went to. Her name was Nicole. She jumped on a train and went to Flint, and most of them were murdered, shot in the head. You might remember that happened in Michigan. It was like back in '96, '97, I think.
Oh, yeah, I do remember something
Yeah,
about that.
that was
Oh wow.
those were my friends. So
Wow.
Highland Township. They jumped off
Yep.
a train in Flint, Michigan. So I was supposed to be with them that night. I didn't go. Thank God. Or I could be dead. They shot my friend Dustin. Nicole, they shot in the face. They drug her across rocks, raped her.
Oh damn.
But she was underage. They never really said her name but I think she was on TV shows or something. It made national news. It made national
Wow.
news. And I lost track of her after I got locked up. But we used to hang out. She was also an escort for a while. Hopefully, she's still alive. You know.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's some of the things you got. I mean, that's one of the some people that I've seen and stuff like that, and people I talk to just randomly. But being in this industry here, I mean, you got to worry about that stuff. I mean, it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's when you said earlier that it's work. I mean, it's just not work. With production and everything else, it's work just trying to stay alive.
True. We can have stalkers. Escorting can has its dangers. I've been robbed. I've had guys pull guns on me. And they'd be like, "Give me your jewelry." I'd say, "Fuck you," and grab the gun. Next thing you know, we're fighting over the gun, but they're larger than me. I try to take the gun out of their hand. They end up choking me. Then they're like, "You stupid! Don't grab a loaded gun."
Mhm.
Yeah, it was stupid, but come on, you're pointing it at me. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do what you expect me not to do, which worked that one time. It might not work the next time. I'm gonna do what you expect me not to.
and you have to. I mean, you have to be
Yeah.
up on everybody else just to.
Oh, of course. So
Yeah, because a lot of the people, they just think that you're just.
a pushover.
Yeah,
Oh, it's just a tranny.
yeah.
That's why I don't wear jewelry no more. I don't wear jewelry. I used to escort and wear $250,000 worth of jewelry, Piaget watches, solid 18 karat gold.
Wow.
You know, because I thought I was cool. Because I made a lot. It's only money. You can lose it. You know.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, that's just crazy. You know, I mean, I always knew there was danger. I mean, it's just like 'cause it's probably one of the most dangerous jobs out there, considered, or
it is.
career wise. I mean, I
It
could
can be.
almost,
Yeah.
I could almost sit there and say it's probably damn near almost more dangerous than being, a cop or something like that, just because of you don't have the
Yeah, because
backup.
at least a cop, you got a gun.
Yeah, and
Exactly. I mean, some girls get kidnapped. They're sold into sex slavery. I mean, some states like New York or Boston, you'll get a text message saying, if you're gonna work here, you gotta give us a cut. You know, this
wow,
is our area. I've had to deal with that before. I don't go for it. Never have, never will. I always try to stay somewhere safe, not only for me but my clients.
yeah.
But it's
So,
not an easy job, and it's probably going to get more dangerous.
oh yeah, I mean, especially now. I mean,
Oh
like
yeah,
I said,
people
with
need
everything
money.
going on. I mean, does that
Money's
bother
just.
you? I mean, does that kind of like hinder your career a little bit? Does it make you like double think when you
Oh
do
yeah,
things?
yeah. Of course. Like I won't go to certain cities. Like I used to go to Manhattan all the time. I used to make a killing. Most of my clients moved out. Some of my clients were police. They moved out, saying, "Nikki, don't go there. It's dangerous." I mean, I retired early because I don't want to be there. A lot of them moved to New Jersey. A lot moved to Queens. A lot moved to other states like Florida. Some moved out here. No one wants to be in like a Democrat ran city. Chicago.
Uh,
I went there because they got rid of their last mayor. I went there for 2 weeks. Cool. They got a different mayor. Now it's just as bad. I won't be going back.
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And I used to be a Democrat. And I'm like, this shit's crazy. I'm a criminal and I don't like the crime. Things are crazy.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just like
I'm not an angel.
I mean, just in the
I'm not an
last
angel. I'm like,
yeah, just in the last 9 months, I would say, that things have just gone downhill at a rapid pace. I mean, I would think in your industry, especially being the escort side of things, is
yeah, it's
uh,
hard. It's hard getting a gig now because of OnlyFans. And then
mm,
OnlyFans, I have like 586 movies. I was in the top 5%. They started deleting hundreds of movies because I didn't have the proper paperwork because not everyone wants to fill out the paperwork.
yeah,
So now I got like a couple hundred. And now I don't charge no one. Therefore, now I'm losing money. But I'm not going to have none of my fans pay $10 a month because that's all I was charging at the time, $10. But they had access to hundreds of movies. I don't want to piss off my. It's not worth the money to me, ripping people off like some do. Have them pay and then they go in. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I can't do it. It's just not in my character. I can't fuck people over. That's why I've done so well escorting because I don't have no bad reviews. I don't screw people over. I might screw them, but that's what they pay for.
Well, I mean,
Or vice versa.
it's a business. I mean,
It's a
and
business,
it's
you know?
it's a word of mouth business more than it is anything else. So,
Yeah. Oh, and there's sites with
no pun
reviews. I
intended.
don't, you know. No, I heard you. It's no, it's like with porn. No one wants to work with someone making a movie that's like stuck up or a piece of shit. They just no one wants to work knowing that shows up late.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're supposed to be here at a certain time. We expect you to be here. Like I could do a whole movie an hour and a half max. Most places are like, oh, you got 3 hours. I just know what to do. Turn on the fucking camera. If you got to move me anywhere, just push down on my body. Do this. Why we're making it. It's
Yeah.
easy. I'm experienced. You know, but in porn, you have to deal with people, just like
Yeah.
escorting. You have to deal with people. It's a people business, and you're not always going to get along with everyone, and not everyone's always going to be happy.
And I mean, is it true? What a lot of these, like I said, when it comes to the porn industry, the adult industry, the only thing I've got to see is like either watching the movie or watching the documentaries that are made afterwards. Um, but I mean, is it is it a very hostile like dog eat dog or industry?
Well, now that everyone wants to do it, it's very easy to find willing participants. Everyone wants to be a porn star. That's why most guys are, oh, I want to be a porn star. How do I do it? I don't freaking know. Go on the site, send them an email. Other than that, I hear guys get paid $100. Us trans, we used to get paid like tens of thousands, 10,000, 5,000. Then in 2012, it's $1,200. Nowadays, it's 300 to 500 a film. That's it.
Wow, really
It's not a lot. It's not a lot, but that's also with other people's OnlyFans or some smaller companies,
yeah,
Some of the big companies I just don't like because they denied me when I was first starting out. And then they would contact me wanting me to work with them. And I'm like, you guys denied me. Now I'm denying you. Because that's just how I operate. I don't need you. You need me.
makes sense. Yep.
Some girls do that, some girls don't.
Is there
I always did.
is there a lot of bullying and stuff like that? In I mean, not I guess what do you classify as bullying, but more to where you're not respected. I mean, is the respect there compared to where it was back when the adult industry came
Well,
into more popular?
they they like to pick certain girls, whatever sells, which is understandable. But everyone tries to get everyone when they first come out. You know, um, that's like Shemale Young. They just want everyone when they first come out. Oh, this is a new girl. Sometimes they blow up, sometimes they don't. Um, I blew up when I first came out. Some companies liked me, some didn't. The ones that denied me asked me later, and I chose not to deal with them. You know,
Makes sense.
yeah, because for me it was like, oh, now you guys want me.